Straight all day.com.
Everything about your very existence just improved dramatically because you are tuned in now to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. This is the go-getter energy that moves me, you, anyone else out there to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one philosophy, one mindset, one book, one show. What you get is work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, quick and easy, is that way for a reason. Anything in life that comes quick and comes easy, there's a reason why it comes quick and it comes easy. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want you to understand not only why things come quick and easy and the value that those things hold, but also the value of things that aren't so quick and aren't so easy to acquire, the value those hold, and then a decision that you need to make. And yes, it is a decision that you need to make every single day with every action you take, or whether you're going to go for the quick and easy option or you're going to go for the maybe slow and more difficult option, both looking at the short term and the long term of your life. And these are decisions that you're going to need to make over and over and over again. And if you think you know how I'm going to describe these, you're probably wrong. So that's why you need to listen closely. The other day, I went for a run. You know, running is something that I like to do, especially being in South Florida where the weather is pretty nice. You can get outside and run without, having to be all bundled up most days, damn near the whole year, all the way through. And I had the best energy that I had on a run for about a month on this particular day when I ran. And I figured, it could have been a lot of reasons why that happened, but I think, and this, I didn't do a critical analysis of this. I did not go through the whole scientific method to test my hypothesis, but I'm going to go with my belief, which was, it was probably because for the previous 3 or 4 days, each of the 3 or 4 days prior, I had eaten some Shake Shack in the afternoon. But the day before that run, I didn't eat Shake Shack and my energy was a whole lot better. So I think it was because I didn't consume the Shake Shack that my energy was a whole lot better on that run. Now, all you know what Shake Shack is. It's I guess we call it quick service. It's kind of like fast food. Maybe you could put it in the fast food category, but I guess it's a little bit higher quality, or at least it markets itself as a little bit higher quality than a McDonald's or a Burger King or something like that. And the Shake Shack is a restaurant that got built in my neighborhood not too long ago, and I was excited when I saw that it was coming up, even though I'm for the most part vegan. My meals, when I eat my lunch and dinner, I don't eat breakfast as a meal. I eat bananas and water for breakfast, if you want to call that breakfast. My lunch and dinner meals are vegan. I order from a vegan delivery service in South Florida, and a delivery service that makes vegan meals for me. They make meals for any type of person, but you understand my point. But other than that, I usually don't even eat meat, but I do eat meat when I want to. So if I want a cheesesteak, a bacon cheeseburger, or some Shake Shack, I do get it. I'm not a strict vegan. There's some people out there who are strict. I'm not strict, but I do eat my spinach every day and all that stuff that y'all probably know about if you follow me on my Instagram story. Now, the Shake Shack got built in the neighborhood. I was excited, as I was saying, because it's like the quickest and easiest meal that you could get in the neighborhood. Everywhere else in the neighborhood, you got to order it and you got to wait 15, 20 minutes for the food to be ready. Or it's a restaurant where it would take pretty much that long, even if you were doing a takeout order. So Shake Shack was like, all right, this is a place where I could walk in, order something, wait maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then I get my food. So that's why I call Shake Shack more quick service than fast food, because fast food is like you pay and before you even walk away, you get your food. Shake Shack, you got to walk away, stand there for a few minutes, then you get your food. So it takes a little bit longer, which to me translates to the quality of the food being a little bit better. But that may just be a figment of my imagination. That may not even be true. So somebody who understands food and how these service restaurants and fast food and all those work and the difference between them, you can explain that to me if you know. All right, don't tell me any theories, but tell me if you know for sure. But anyway, Shake Shack's in the neighborhood is the cheapest, quickest, easiest meal that you can get in the neighborhood on the go really quickly. But here's the thing that I thought about when I was thinking about how I felt so good on that run as compared to my previous couple of runs that had been Shake Shack fueled, or at least partially Shake Shack fueled, was that there's a reason why the quick and easy food is quick and easy. And it works the same way, not only in the food that you eat and whether you're going to have energy to go for a run outside in South Florida or do anything else you want to do in life, but it works that way in all of life. All right, it doesn't have to be anything fitness related. This could be relationship wise, it can be business wise, it can be just internally with yourself, the way that you're thinking, the way that you're talking to yourself. And that's what we're talking about here today. So let's get into the points. Point number one, today's topic, once again, quick and easy is that way for a reason. First point, your most prized achievements in life, the ones that you already have and the ones that you will achieve, the ones that will be under your belt in the future, they will all require, the most prized ones will require the most time and the most effort, as opposed to your less prized accomplishments, for lack of a better description. The most time and effort goes to the ones that you're most proud of. And they also, here's the other thing about your most prized achievements. If you think about it for your own life, they're the achievements that did not come with an upfront promise of success. The ones that nobody guaranteed you, nothing about the situation guaranteed that if you invest in this and you try for this, that it's actually going to work. You didn't know if it was going to work. Now, it ended up working, but it wasn't guaranteed to work. I mean, it did work, and that's why it's such a prized possession for you, because you had to make a little bit of an investment, right? You had to invest some time, money, attention, energy, focus, and that's all harkening back to episode 609, the 5 forms of investment. You had to make those investments without a guarantee that it was going to work out, which is also what made it a scarce accomplishment, simply because so many people don't want to make an upfront investment in anything if they're not sure it's going to work out. Or they'll make somewhat of an investment. Let me see how much it works out. But if it's not really looking too good at the beginning, I'm not going to invest anymore. So a lot of people don't really make a full investment into anything if they're not guaranteed to get an outcome. This is why most people don't achieve much in life, because they're not willing to put anything in without a guarantee that they're going to get something back. But you did it. Your most prized achievement, you did it. And it took you some time, it took you some effort, probably a lot of time and a lot of effort. And there was a whole lot of delayed gratification that you had to deal with, uncertainty that you had to deal with about your future. You had to practice some applied faith, like we talked about in episode 792, how to use applied faith in life, which is different from just blind faith, to do the things that most people will never do. Delayed gratification is, everyone knows what that is, right? Delayed gratification is when you take some action right now, make some investment today that will pay off sometime in the future. Maybe it won't pay off at all. When you got uncertainty combined with delayed gratification, I guarantee you're not going to have too many applicants. You won't have too many people raising their hands to sign up for something that's delayed gratification and it's uncertain. So you're telling me that not only am I not getting anything back from my investment today, I also might not ever get anything back at all. Okay, I'm good. I'm out on that one. All right, most people, that's how most people think. And some people even come out and even say it out loud. This is why most people don't achieve much. This is why most people live their lives at the bottom of the pyramid. There's a reason why when you look at a pyramid, the bottom level, the ground level is the widest level, because it needs to fit most people. Most people don't want to deal with delayed gratification. Most people do not want to deal with anything that is uncertain, anything that is not guaranteed. But the problem is, the only things that are guaranteed, how much are they worth? See, this is the challenge. This is the crux here, the paradox that all of us have to deal with on every level. Every single day we have to deal with this. You may not think about it all the time, but this is something that we're dealing with all the time. Episode 792, again, is practicing applied faith. Faith is belief in something that's going to happen, but you don't have a guarantee of it. But applied faith is when you actually put your feet to the pavement behind that faith, behind that belief. And again, episode 792, you can learn more about that. In other words, your greatest accomplishments, in order for you to have accomplished them, you had to pass on the quick and easy opportunities just for the possibility, to position yourself for the possibility of achieving something bigger. All the while you're waiting on this something bigger that might happen and it might not happen, you had to watch everybody else, all those other, most people who are not in on any kind of delayed gratification stuff. You had to watch all those people get their rewards quick and easy today. So in other words, it's like you were cooking a pot roast, in a crock pot or something. Any of you ever used a crock pot where you put the food in there? And listen, I've never actually operated a crock pot. I've seen it been operated, but I've never actually done it myself. You put the pot roast in the crock pot and you let it sit for hours, right? While you're waiting for it to get done, while everybody else is just going to McDonald's, and within 3 minutes, they already got their extra value meal. They got the fries, the drink, they got a McFlurry, and they're already eating their meal. They've finished their meal, and you only 10% into the time it's going to take for yours to cook. And you don't even know if it's going to come out right. Are you willing to do that? Now, when it comes to food, maybe you're willing to do it because you have a strong reason to believe, as a reasonable person, that the meal is going to come out right because you're following some recipe that you got out of a book or off YouTube. But what about if you don't know if that crock pot's even going to produce a meal? Maybe you'll go hungry if it doesn't come out right. How many people are willing to metaphorically invest in the crock pot meal that takes 12 hours as opposed to the McDonald's meal, which takes 120 seconds? Most people are not willing to do that. But this is why your greatest accomplishment was your greatest accomplishment, and what your best accomplishments moving forward, which will probably surpass what you've done in the past. Why they're going to be what they are, simply because, first of all, it's not going to be much competition. Secondly, because there's some uncertainty that goes with it. And the accomplishments that come out of uncertainty are that much sweeter simply because you had to bet on yourself. You had to bet on the situation. You had to bet that this is going to turn into something when there was no guarantee that it would. And because you had to delay gratification, you had to put all this time and effort in, and all these resources you had to pour into a situation, not even knowing if all of that input was going to produce an output. And then when it does, it's like a release, right? There's a whole lot of tension that gets built up when you're putting a whole lot of investment into something and not quite sure that you're going to get any ROI on it. But when you do, it's like, wow, it's amazing. This is why when an athlete wins a championship, or you see an Olympian winning a gold medal, why they're crying and why they're so emotional, is not necessarily because of the medal itself or the trophy itself. Is because of all the investment that they had to make, with no guarantee to putting all that hard work in was actually going to produce this end goal. Because listen, they're not the only one who were doing it. They're not the only person who was training to win the gold medal. They're not the only person who was trying to win that championship trophy, but they're the ones who ended up getting it. So when they do get it, they get through all that uncertainty, all that delayed gratification, and it actually produces an ROI. They're like, wow, I actually did it. Or this could be any kind of achievement that somebody achieves that they see as a big achievement. But understanding that while you're doing this, while you're going after that delayed gratification and dealing with that uncertainty, a lot of other people who don't want to deal with that, they're going to be getting their rewards much quicker and much more easily than you. And they're looking at you while they're sitting there enjoying their rewards. And here you are with no reward whatsoever, even though you're working probably harder than they worked, but they have a reward and you don't. To them, you look like a fool, because again, most people don't even understand emotionally the concept of delayed gratification. Everyone understands it logically as I'm explaining it verbally, but most people don't emotionally understand it. And if everyone understood it emotionally, then I wouldn't even need to talk about it. All right, that's the reason why I'm talking about it. Most people don't emotionally understand. And let me make clear what I mean when I say understanding things emotionally versus logically. Logically understanding something means if you hear someone talking about it, you can accept what they're saying. It makes sense. You can connect the dots. You could regurgitate it back to them. You could explain it to another person maybe. That's logically understanding something. Like, you understand the concept. Emotional understanding means not only do you understand the concept of something, but you also allow it to get into your bones, meaning your actions reflect that you understand something. If I was to stand in front of a room of 100 people and ask people, do you understand the concept of delayed gratification? If I was to just rewind the last 15 minutes of what I said and explain it to a room of people, everyone would say they pretty much understand it, because I think I'm pretty articulate when it comes to explaining things. But those same 200 people who said they all understand delayed gratification, if you watch their actions over the next 30 days, how many of those 200 people do you think would actually be practicing delayed gratification on a consistent basis in their lives? That's a question for you. How many people out of 200? How many of them would actually be practicing it, even though they all said they understood it? How many would practice it? I would say, and from my professional experience, dealing with talking about discipline and delayed gratification and just watching people's actions as compared to their words, I would say about 15%, which would be about, out of 200, that's 30 people. 30 people out of 200. The other 170, they understand delayed gratification. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything with it. Now, forget those 200 people. Let's just talk about one person. Let's talk about you. Or how about you talk about you? Because I don't know you. I can't speak on what you've been doing, but you can. Let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic: quick and easy is that way for a reason. Point number 2, you're human. Now, you knew that, right? Which means this: you want to conserve time and energy as much as possible. Why? Because you're human. Not because there's something wrong with you or right with you. It's just because you're human. This is what human beings do. We want to conserve energy, save it for life and death situations. That's our wiring, our caveman wiring, as they say, to conserve energy. And we want to conserve time, meaning we don't want to invest 2 hours into something that we could get done in 1 hour. Again, because of that conservation, that law of conservation that we have wired into us as human beings. This is why, because we want to conserve time and energy as humans, this is why the things that come quick and easy in life, this is how they become so popular. All right, so when I tell you about Shake Shack, and when I mention McDonald's, and Burger King and Wendy's, even if you don't eat those foods, you know exactly what they are though. You've heard of them, right? You know what they look like. You know the logos. You know what kind of food they sell. Like who's the person from Wendy's? Everybody remembers Dave Thomas. You know what the logo looks like. If I showed you the logo without the name, you would know that's Wendy's. If I showed you McDonald's Golden Arches, you would know it was McDonald's. If I said who makes the Whopper, everybody knows that it's Burger King. How are they so popular? Even though not everybody even consumes from these places. I haven't consumed from any of these places in years, but I still know what they are. Why? Why are they so popular? It's because everybody else is human too. See, you're human, and maybe you don't eat fast food, but everybody else is human too. And as I just told you, 85% of people, and that may be a very generous number, 85% of people don't want to engage in delayed gratification, even though they understand delayed gratification. This is why the quick and easy becomes what it is. So where's the opportunity then? Knowing that everyone is going to, not everyone, but most of us are going to go after wherever the quick and easy thing is. Where's the opportunity? I already told you this. Episode 1025. The opportunity is in the opposites. Always in life. If you want to find opportunity in life, all you need to do is use other people. Go look and see what everybody else is doing, where everybody else is going, because most people are lambs, right? Most people are sheep. They follow what everybody else is doing without any logical understanding of why they're doing it. They just follow because who wants to be left out? Human beings, we're social creatures. We want to follow the pack. So when you see what everybody else is doing, where everybody else is going, go the opposite direction. You give yourself a much better opportunity to succeed. The opportunity is always in the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So therefore, that means having the discipline to pass on the quick thing that's easy come and easy go, and investing in a long-term play, whatever that long-term play may be for you. The challenge is with investing in a long-term play, though this sounds like a really simple, easy formula, right? Here's the challenge to it. Investing in a long-term outcome does not have a guaranteed result. There's no guarantee that just because you invest in something, you are not guaranteed to get a return on that investment. And the quick thing though, the investment is pretty much guaranteed because you're getting the result within 60 seconds of your investment. It's a tough challenge, right? The quick thing, you can see the results right there in front of you, and you get the results damn near instantaneously. It's like opening up a web browser and typing in google.com. The website comes up damn near immediately. It's very hard to pass up an immediate reward when your alternative is a reward that may or may not come in the distant future, whatever is distant to you. This is why most people don't do it. This is why most people do not achieve things that are worthwhile, that last, that create or build any type of legacy for them, simply because they're going after the quick thing, simply because we're human beings. We're wired to save time and save energy. So if I propose to you something that's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of time, and it may not even turn out to produce anything for you, why would you sign up for that? What idiot is signing up for that? Not too many people. And this is why, again, 85% of people go after the quick thing. There's a reason why McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, KFC, you know why they make so much money? It's not because they have the highest quality products. I don't think they do. Do you think they do? That's not the reason why they make so much money. They make so much money because they're easy to access by time. They're easy to access by location. They're easy to access by cost. You can find one very quickly, damn near anywhere you are in let's just say the United States, because that's where I live. Anywhere in the United States where you live, if you look up KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, I guarantee one of them is probably within 1 mile wherever you are, damn near at all times, unless you live in a very remote rural area. Otherwise, they're usually pretty close, right? So easy to access by location. They're easy to access by time. They have drive-through windows, right? There ain't no drive-through window at Fleming's Steakhouse. All right, there's no drive-through window at Ruth's Chris. There's no drive-through window. Not even Shake Shack has a drive-through. Maybe they do have a drive-through at some places. I don't know. But you get the point of what I'm saying here, do you not? They have a drive-through window so you can get your food very quickly. And it's relatively cheap. So you don't have a whole lot of money for food. I mean, you could afford McDonald's, right? You got $5, you can get something at McDonald's. Now, with $5, you might not be able to get into some of the buffets in Miami Beach. But you get in McDonald's. You go get some fries, a sandwich. I don't know. You might be able to get the whole meal. I don't know what the price of extra value meals is these days, but it's cheap compared to everything else, right? And that attracts the masses. Things that are quick and easy to access, easy to afford, very low risk, very low investment, they attract the masses of people. McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, they're made to serve the masses. They're made to serve the people who live at the bottom of the pyramid. And I want you to understand that even though I'm using food as an example here, this is all metaphorical for anything that you could be doing in life. All right, don't think that this is just about health and nutrition and eating. This is about anything. The masses are served by the things that are quick and easy. The people who are at the higher levels of the pyramid of life, they're looking at the long-term plays. Doesn't mean they don't every now and then dabble in the things at the bottom of the pyramid. Listen, I've eaten McDonald's before. I mean, Shake Shack's not that far up the pyramid. Trust me, it's not. But the overall, if you look at the aggregate of the actions that the people at the higher levels of the pyramid, the actions that they take, they're usually making the long-term plays. The things that are delayed gratification, an investment of time, an investment of effort, an investment of energy that is not guaranteed to pay back, those are where the big wins come from. Point number 3. Today's topic, quick and easy, is that way for a reason. As the saying goes, when you're easy on yourself, life will be hard on you. And when you're hard on yourself, life is easy on you. This has to do not only with what you are saying to yourself or how hard you work in the gym or how much you allow yourself to sleep in when your alarm clock is already going off. This is also about the decisions that you make. It's also about the people that you choose to associate with. It's also about the way that you talk to yourself. All of these things apply to this saying. When you're easy on yourself, life is hard on you. When you're hard on yourself, life is easy on you. In other words, life is going to be hard one way or another. Okay? Or at least a successful life. Let me put it that way. Actually, no, that's incorrect. Even an unsuccessful life is hard. All right. Have you ever driven by a person? You pulled off the highway off ramp, and there's a person near that off ramp at the intersection holding out a cup, begging for change, going up to every car at a red light, asking for some change or $1. All right. Is their life pretty hard? Their life seems pretty hard. All right. And that person, I think most people would deem that person to be unsuccessful. We don't even know them, but just judging by appearances, we would call that person unsuccessful. Right. That's a hard life. Person who becomes wildly successful, it's hard for them too. They got scrutiny, they have challenges, they have expectations, they have people dependent on them. They have to continue to repeat their success over and over again. So no matter where you are on the spectrum, if you're at the bottom of the totem pole or at the top of the totem pole, life is going to be hard. And if you're somewhere in the middle, it's hard too, because you're stuck in the middle. All right, the last place you want to be is the middle. Because the middle is average enough that you're doing well enough that you may not have a fire under your ass to do anything different, but you're also not doing terrible enough that you're like, all right, well, I mean, let me say, you're not also not high enough that you're like, no, this is, wait, let me back up. I confused myself with that. When you're in the middle, you're not high enough to say, all right, I don't need to do anything, but you're not low enough to say that I need to do something. So you may just rock yourself to sleep and spend the whole middle part of your life, the majority of your life, 80 years of your life in stagnation, 80 years of your life in the middle, 80 years of your life in mediocrity, simply because nothing's pushing you to do anything different. All right, so you don't want to be in the middle. That's going to be hard. If you're at the bottom, it's hard. And if you're at the top, it's hard. It's going to be hard no matter what. Therefore, you have 2 choices. You can either be hard on yourself. You could take the hardness of life and impose it on yourself, which will make the rest of life easy. Or you can let life be hard on you, which will make things, I don't know. I would rather take the first option, because at least then I can control it. If I'm being hard on myself, I can control when that's happening, what I'm doing, and how I'm going about it. But if life is hard on me, then it's just whatever life decides to throw at me, I got to deal with it. And I don't know when it's coming, where it's coming from, what it's going to be. That's a lot less predictable. I like predictability, because I'm a human being, same way that you do. Success and achievement are things that everybody wants. I mean, if you ask them. But success and achievement would not have value if they were very easy to get. All right, that's why you ask somebody, do you want to be successful? Or you ask somebody, what do you want to do in life? Sometimes people say, well, I just want to be successful. I want to achieve things. Why is that? It's because they have value simply because they're not easy to acquire. So life, what it does is it puts up some barriers that filter people out. So those who do achieve success, those who do achieve things, whatever those things are, they have earned it. And the other reason why life puts up barriers and puts up these filters is so there's less competition. So the life can find out who actually really wants success, who really wants to achieve something. It puts up these barriers to see who's going to figure out a way around this barrier, or over it, or under it, or through it, or some alternative route. Who's going to figure out a way to deal with this barrier, and who's just going to turn around and do nothing? Who's going to just lay down at the foot of the barrier and fall asleep for the rest of their lives? The resulting scarcity of achievement and success is what drives up its value. Drives up, not dries as in no moisture. Drive as in a car, pushing the value up. The value of success goes up simply because of the scarcity of its accomplishment. The more you push yourself to do things that take time and that are not so easy, the more you position yourself to exist separately from the masses who live at the bottom of the pyramid. This is why that saying again is that saying. You got to be hard on yourself to make the rest of life easy on you. You're going to get pushed one way or another. Do you want to be in control of the pushing, or do you want the pushing to control you? That's a question that you answer. Logically, everybody can answer that question, but emotionally, how are you answering that question? In other words, what are your actions saying about how you see that option, those options? Pushing yourself or waiting for life to push you? What are your actions saying about that? Are you waiting for life to push you, or are you pushing yourself? Are you taking the initiative to push yourself first? The more you push you, the less life will need to do so. Now, and at some point, maybe you can start pushing life around. You can start dictating to life how things are going to go instead of life dictating to you. How would that feel? How do you think that would be? There's nothing stopping you from finding out. Let's recap today's topic, which is quick and easy. It is that way for a reason in life. As I told you in the introduction, I ate some Shake Shack for several days in a row, but then I didn't eat it one day, went for a run the next day, and my energy was a whole lot better. And I think it was because of the Shake Shack. Could have been 10 other factors, but for the purpose of the story that I'm telling, we're going to say it was because of the Shake Shack, because it's in the neighborhood, it's cheap, it's quick, and it's easy, but there's a reason it's like that, and it works the same way in all of life, not just food. Number one, your most prized achievements in life are the things that require the most time and the most effort. They also do not come with an upfront promise of success. There is delayed gratification, uncertainty about your future, and you'll have to practice some applied faith to do things that most people will never do. In other words, you're passing on the quick and easy things for the possibility of doing something better, all while you're watching everybody else get rewards quick and easy today, which is not easy to do. Point number two, you're a human being, which means you want to conserve time and energy as much as possible. And this is why the things that come quick and easy in life are so popular, because everybody else is also human. So where's the opportunity? Is in the opposites. Having the discipline to pass on the quick thing that is easy come and easy go, and investing in a long-term play. But the thing is, long-term plays don't come with guarantees, which is why most people don't want to do it. Things that are easy to access by time, location, cost, they attract the masses. Do you want to be one of the masses, or do you want to be one of the exceptions? And point number three, the saying goes, when you're easy on yourself, life is hard on you. When you're hard on yourself, life is easy on you. Success and achievement, everybody wants it, but they wouldn't have value if everybody could get it. So how do we filter people out? Life puts up barriers that makes it harder. You got to put time in. You got to put money in. You got to put effort in. Oh, and I'm not guaranteeing that you get results. When life put those barriers up, a whole lot of people get turned away. A lot of people get filtered out. So there's a lot less competition when you go over the barrier of people who actually want it. The resulting scarcity, because there's so little competition, that's what drives up the value of success and achievement. That's why people who are known as, quote, successful, close quote, or high achievers, they're put on a pedestal by everybody else in life. The people at the bottom of the pyramid are holding up the pedestal for the people at the top of the pyramid. They are bearing their weight on their shoulders simply because of the scarcity of the accomplishments that those people have accomplished. And there's nothing stopping you from being one of them. The more you push yourself to do things that take time and that are not so easy, the more you position yourself to exist separately from the masses. You will stand on top of them, and they will hold you up simply because they weren't willing to do the things that you were willing to do. They weren't willing to make the investments that you were willing to make. When are you going to make a decision? If you don't, life will make a decision for you. Work on your game. Dre all day.